Hey y'all, this is Kerata reporting to you live from Colorado. Today I have an update on the 2022 legislative proposal made by the Child Protective Ombudsman of Colorado concerning mandated reporting laws in Colorado. So let's start out with a little bit of background. A mandated reporter is someone who is required by law to report suspected child abuse or neglect to the state. Since child protective services are run differently from state to state, the laws surrounding who's mandated reporter and what is required of them vary greatly. In Colorado, mandated reporters are listed by profession, and there are 40 categories in all. The most typical ones that we usually think of are doctors, teachers, therapists, and law enforcement. When mandated reporting laws do not work properly, a disproportionate number of families living in poverty and families of color are affected. This leads to the overrepresentation of children of color in the child welfare system. Overreporting on poor families causes families' involvement in the system of child welfare unnecessarily, as poverty is not an issue that child protective caseworkers are equipped to solve on their own. This investigation into the mandated reporter law by the Child Protective Ombudsman of Colorado was instigated by some confusion among mandated reporters in Colorado about what their role is. 5 areas were identified as needing clarification. The first update that the Colorado Child Protective Ombudsman wants is a definition of the term immediately. This would ensure that reports are not being delayed due to confusion about how much time is immediate after observing suspected child maltreatment. Suggested fixes for this include allotting a certain amount of hours in which the abuse or neglect should be reported. Some examples from other states were 24, 36, or 48 hours. The next area of the law that needs clarification is details surrounding what the capacity mandated reporters are required to make their reports in. So, in some states, people working in certain professions are only required to make reports of suspected abuse or neglect that they discover while at work. In other states, like North Carolina, all adults are considered mandated reporters at all times and must report. This clarification in Colorado is needed to help mandated reporters understand their roles, both at work and outside of work. The next part of the law that the Ombudsman would like to see reformed has to do with notifying mandated reporters of their duties. Many companies have mandated reporter trainings for new employees. However, some areas, for example, veterinarians or animal protection officers, may not know that their profession puts them on the list of mandated reporters in Colorado. A proposed solution to this is writing in the law that notice be given to all new employees and or a signed statement must be gotten from all new employees that they understand what is expected of them as a mandated reporter and how to respond appropriately. This suggestion goes along with the next one on the list, which is to require training for mandated reporters. Currently, only 10 states have a required training in place. A benefit to requiring a training for people in the mandated reporter role is to help them understand their own implicit biases so that we do not perpetuate disproportionate reporting on families who are disadvantaged and families of color. The final point of the law that has been suggested for update is what is expected of institutions who employ mandated reporters. Some companies require employees to report to their supervisor instead of directly to the child abuse hotline. However, it is unclear what happens with the report afterwards. It can also create unclear passage of information and details. A benefit to this model is another check at the supervisor level to ensure that the employee is not making a report based on their own implicit biases. So now I want to transition to talking about an article written by Alan Detlef called End Carceral Social Work. The child welfare system exists to surveil and punish families. And Child Protective Services workers hold a tremendous amount of power. There is overwhelming research that tells us that forcibly taking children away from their families causes lifelong trauma, no matter the length of the separation. Some researchers believe that mandated reporter laws are intentionally vague as a means to lawfully continue the surveillance of families, in particular Black families and children. It is comparable to the prison industrial complex in that it acts as another legal policing system for Black Americans. Allen's article lists the statistic that half of Black children in the U.S. will be part of a child services investigation by the time they're 18, and Black children are removed from their families at twice the rate of white children. This article names the child welfare system as a cause for homelessness, unemployment, poverty, and incarceration, among other social issues. Mandated reporter laws can be easily weaponized against certain groups of people because of their ambiguous nature and the ability to craft them specifically to target communities within each state and county. The article challenges that reporting any family to a system that is known to result in harm is against our values as social workers. So, my question for you all is, do you think that these edits to the mandated reporter laws in Colorado will be helpful or harmful using this abolitionist lens? Thank you.